Robin Merrill.
And a very warm welcome from Berlin. Here at the film festival, there was an absolute highlight for movie fans this weekend. The Fritz Lang silent film Metropolis, made in the 1920s, was way ahead of its time and is considered an absolute cinema classic. However, after its premiere, it was cut by half an hour to make it a more attractive length for cinema-goers. The original film, 2.5 hours long, was then lost for 80 years until a copy was found in Argentina. Now, after careful restoration, it's back.
The crowd gathered outside the Friedrichstadtpalast well ahead of time. The venue was hosting the first ever screening of the restored, uncut version of Fritz Lang's 1927 classic, Metropolis.
The fact that this masterpiece has been restored after so long and that they've found the material that was cut is a sensation. It's one of the best films ever made. It's just fantastic.
Conductor Frank Strobel is getting nervous. The curtain goes up in just a few minutes.
I'm a bit nervous because there'll be so many people watching here in the theater and also outside at the Brandenburg Gate and on TV. It's pretty special, and it means a lot to me because I've spent so long working on this film and the music.
Just a day earlier, Strobel was still perfecting the performance with the Berlin Radio Symphony Orchestra. They'll be playing the original score by composer Gottfried Huppertz. Ensuring that the orchestra is 100% in sync with the film is an enormous challenge. The conductor relies on the monitor and 1,028 pointers to aid the synchronicity of film and orchestra.
I work completely without technical aids, relying only on the film images. I've added my own notes to the score, which tell me where I need to be in the film. What you see here are particular pointers. When we start the film, this will be one of the first information pointers. Freda, he looks to the left, then comes a pointer, which in this case is car. Then we get to the Tower of Babel, an intertitle. We see it here. And Freda gets into the car, and then at the end we see the bridge and the city Metropolis. And all that allows me to tell from the score which point of the film we've reached.
Metropolis shows the gulf between the working classes toiling away in the bowels of the city and the idle rich who blithely pursue their pleasures in the city above. It was one of the first ever science fiction films. Fritz Lang's original version in 1927 was 2.5 hours long and a commercial flop. A good quarter of the film was therefore lopped off, and the original director's cut was believed gone for good. Then in 2008, key scenes were rediscovered. Using the new footage, the Friedrich-Wilhelm-Murnau Foundation had all but 2 minutes of the original film recreated. Nearly 2,000 people came to the Friedrichstadtpalast to see the result. And thanks to the live orchestra, they got to experience Fritz Lang's masterpiece exactly the same way as Berliners experienced the original 8 decades ago. The film was simultaneously screened at the Brandenburg Gate. Although Metropolis was not a box office success, it went on to influence the film industry. Some 2,000 fans braved the cold for the spectacular outdoor screening.
I don't think anyone appreciated all the special effects at the time and how it really wrote film history. People only realise its significance now.
It's a big event. It's a full-length version, so it's the first time we see this version. And it's amazing to see all these people to discover a very old movie by Fritz Lang with the orchestra. It's like magical.
Metropolis ends with its protagonist Freda securing a reconciliation between the workers and the elite. Back in the Friedrichstadtpalast, the orchestra is bang on cue.
As you can see, the audience is impressed. We're completely exhausted, but it was fantastic.
The demanding rehearsals paid off. Conductor Frank Strobel is exhausted but elated.